Marshawn? Hey, Marshawn. I'm so happy to be of service to bring you forward. Hello, everybody. My name is Patience. I'm your psychic medium, host of Spirit News on Spotify, where we teach you about your non-physicalness. I'm here with the Guild of the Golden Triangle and Marshawn Mitchell. This is an FBI seeking information read. And this young man who's 14 years old, when God bless his soul, he's here with us so we can uncover the mystery of what happened to him. He was a murder victim. He's from Country Club Hills, Illinois, and his last day in the physical was 9/15/2023. And he's a cutie, man. He's a really cutie patootie. And when I saw him, he was a new post on the FBI's Most Wanted on Instagram. I am doing this to be of service so we can help those who are grieving their loved ones. Hey, that's awesome. Yes, cut those cords. We're going to do a seeking information for a young man named Marshawn Mitchell.
Definitely.
I'm going to say a little prayer for him. Yes, his life was taken at 14 years old. He was shot after a football game in Country Club Hills, Illinois. Nobody knows who did it or why, so we're going to find out. And we're going to bring some peace, hopefully, to
Diana.
those grieving. Spirit says Diana. And Marshawn says he's here. He said, I'm here. Landowner. Let's say a prayer first. Thank you, Lord, with all my heart. You have heard the words of my mouth. In the presence of the angels, I will bless you. I will adore before your holy temple. I thank you for your faithfulness and love, which excel all we ever knew of you. On the day I called, you answered. You increased the strength of my soul. All earth's kings shall thank you. When they hear the words of your mouth, they shall sing of the Lord's ways. How great is the glory of the Lord! The Lord is high, yet he looks on the lowly, and the haughty he knows from afar. Though I walk in the midst of affliction, you give me life and frustrate my foes. You stretch out your hand and save me. Your hand will do all things for me. Your love, O Lord, is eternal. Discard not the work of your hands.
She has gone.
Amen. All right.
Spirit box.
Come through, Spirit. Let's get some clues. Let's find out what happened. Let's be of service. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am so grateful. Spirit, please tell me in the Bible a clue so we can get to know Marshawn and what happened. The voice of a suffering individual, Lamentations. I am one who has known affliction under the rod of God's anger, one whom he has driven and forced to walk in darkness, not in light. Against me alone he turns his hand again and again all day long. He has worn away my flesh and my skin. He has broken my bones. He has besieged me all around with poverty and hardship. He has left me to dwell in dark places like those long dead. He has hemmed me in with no escape, weighed me down with chains. Even when I cry for help, he stops my prayer. He has hemmed in my ways
13.
with fitted stones and made my paths crooked. So he may have had a hard time. He may have had maybe a rough home life, or he may have grown up in poverty and hardship. He's had crooked paths. He had a crooked path. He has been, or someone he knows, or he had a friend or something that was giving him a hard time. Or he was bullied because he has broken my bones. He could have had a bully. He has been a bear lying in wait for me, a lion in hiding. He turned me aside and tore me apart, leaving me ravaged. He bent his bow and set me up as a target for his arrow. Immediately, I'm getting maybe a friend that betrayed him. Maybe, I don't know if he had a friend. I'm getting the vibe he had a old friend, maybe someone he grew up with, but when they got to a certain age, they may have grown apart, and he who was once a friend became a bully. He pierced my kidneys with shafts from his quiver. I have become a laughingstock to all my people. Maybe he became popular or something. They're taunt all day long. He assaulted me with bitterness, filled me with wormwood. He has made me eat gravel, trampled me into the dust. My life is deprived of peace. I have forgotten what happiness is. My enduring hope, I said, has perished before the Lord. I think that Marshawn was bullied by someone. He had a bully. Hi, Samara. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for all your support, by the way. I am so grateful for you guys. You guys have been like my soul family, and I really appreciate all the love and support you get. You guys support me more than my own family does, so I really appreciate you. So this is psychic development, so I'm just going to call what I feel. I think he may have had an old friend that used to be friends. They may have grown up together in poverty, and then something changed, and like that dynamic when friends grow apart and the friend starts. I've had this happen before. You're like good friends, and then one summer back to school, they all of a sudden are mean to you, and they're spreading rumors about you and making fun of you. I've had that happen to me before.
30.
Spirit's saying a lot of numbers. 30, 1990s, 13. Spirit, please tell us in this book a little bit more. Give us some more clues, please. Authority. Our inability, he is able. And our shortcomings, distractions of personality. And he was an evaluation that felt harsh, like a sterile bit of truth smacking him in the face. After a nap that was cut short, it brings to mind thoughts of school testing, mid-year employee reviews, and clipboards. While it may feel harsh, the truth is that there's nothing wrong with doing a self-evaluation from time to time to make sure that our thoughts are lining up with God's. The enemy has had way too much say when it comes to how we reflect, view, and dream for our lives. I think this little boy was having a really hard time because of this bully. This bully made his life a living hell, but it used to be his friend. I don't know. We'll see. This says school.
Attachment.
He may have, as a young boy, attached himself to what this bully was saying about him and doing to him. It made him feel bad about himself. He was having a hard time. It was altering the dream he had in view for himself and making him not able to reflect. Or this is the bully. The bully might have been jealous of him because he was doing good. He may have gotten popular or something. Key. There was some kind of authority switch that he was terrified of his potential. This old friend couldn't do a self-evaluation of shame, of his own shame, and he was terrified of Marshawn's potential. He didn't want him to realize the authority he had. He didn't want anyone to open their eyes to how grounded Marshawn was, because he didn't believe that he could be like that. So he would fight. He would fight and battle with him. And Marshawn would plead with him and stand up to his authority. But every time another voice would grab him and try to stick him with shame. And they would set up camp, and his friend would say, "Why am I like this? I wish I wasn't like this." This is classic teenage angst. This friend, they were friends and they grew up together, and then a dynamic changed. Maybe Marshawn started getting popular, or I saw a picture of him on the football team, and his other friend was not having the same direction. The truth is that Marshawn was eager and hopeful and absolutely amped about his future. He wasn't angry or made excuses. He was a hard worker and he listened. Meat, Spirit said meat. So his friend made a analysis that based on his subconsciously based on his own limitations, he would place those concerns on the Marshawn.
Invest.
He realized who he was working with, and he had shame about who he was, and noticed Marshawn's grace, and he wanted to cover that. He didn't want people to see that. He saw that Marshawn was filled with hope and that he wasn't. And Marshawn had hope and pure anticipation for his future. He was a joy. And his friend couldn't fathom the thought of him having a plan without him. He was jealous and envious. He was blinded by the green-eyed monster. A 14-year-old, probably around the same age. He chose to not participate. He didn't amplify his gift of life, and he kept making excuses why he can't do things. And he saw Marshawn moving mountains in a world of doubt, and he had shortcomings, inabilities, distractions, personality flaws. He was comparing himself to Marshawn. He saw the way that Marshawn operated with authority, with God-given authority, and how he reframed his perspective every day, and he was kind to him. Even though this friend was a bully to him, he always was kind to him. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I think Marshawn, it said his God-given authority. So Marshawn may have had faith. He may have had a stronger faith in this than his friend. Maybe they had different environments they grew up in. Maybe this friend his friend was missing faith. Grew up in different. Maybe they grew up in the same environments, but Marshawn chose joy, and his friend chose shame. Chose shame over joy, and Marshawn chose joy over shame. And so it was a different vibration, and his friend could subconsciously feel the difference. Classic case of someone's demons being, yes, classic case, unfortunately. When was a time you had good intentions, but everything went wrong? I can see in my head the split between them. The friend with shame was going down the wrong path, and Marshawn was going towards a path filled with opportunities. And instead of asking Marshawn or being honest with himself or being honest with Marshawn, he became a bully to Marshawn and didn't treat him right. There could be an age difference. Spirit just said age, or maybe just the age of becoming, If you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be? Marshawn was ice cream. He was the ice cream of the month, of the year. He was starting to get popular. And the other friend was starting to veer off in the wrong direction, hanging with the wrong crowd. What's the biggest thing you've ever won? Spirit said it's not something he won. It's something that was a consequence of his subconscious reactions to his shame and his insecurities. It's not something he won, but he did view it as a competition. Have you ever skinny dipped? Oh. So this is going to get complicated, and I'm just reading the energy. I think that this friend may have been gay, and Marshawn may have rejected him in a very nice way, but he had a crush on him, and Marshawn was not interested. Or maybe he didn't even tell them, but idol, yeah. So this friend had a crush on Marshawn. And Marshawn, he knew Marshawn's not like that or doesn't go that way. And so this rejection wound became really like turned into a competition. And his friend felt really vulnerable. That made him feel shame. He felt shame for that when he shouldn't have felt shame. There's nothing wrong with being gay and wanting someone or being attracted to someone who doesn't swing that way. You are allowed to be attracted to people. Obviously, there are friends. Why, of course you'd want a friend to be someone you are interested in, but it was unrequited, and there may have been in the past, what's your most embarrassing moment? They may have had a time where they're like being boys and they were wrestling or swimming, and this friend is gay, so he may have gotten like excited or something in front of Marshawn, and Marshawn broke it down he didn't make fun of him, or he wasn't mean to him, and that almost like made it worse. It probably would have been better if he just shut it down immediately, but because he was so nice and understanding about it, it made him like him more, and it made him hate him more because, oh, you don't want me and you're going to be nice about it? It was very like he was operating in a shame wound. Describe your best first date. He considered their hangouts to be, when was a good time you had a good intention but everything went wrong? He began to see their hangouts as dates or times to get closer to each other. And I just don't think that Marshawn was viewing it that way, but he was. So it just wasn't going to go that way. I think it was an accident. I think that it was like a crime of passion. Fatal attraction, yeah. If you hosted a YouTube channel, what would it be about? Oh shit. Marshawn may have maybe told somebody about this or made a post about it, or Marshawn may have overstepped his boundaries and his he may have betrayed his friend's trust by mentioning it to people or saying something about it online. If you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be? There could have been something online that was said about it. And I think that's what enraged this boy, that he did that. If you became an overnight celebrity, what would you be famous for? Oh. So by Marshawn spilling the beans about his friend, about an embarrassing moment, he could have gotten popular based on an embarrassing moment that his friend thought he could share with him or be safe with him. And I think he felt a real big betrayal. They're 14 years old. This 14-year-old boy, his friend was. So that's probably when he started becoming defensive. Maybe Marshawn was the bully. Maybe Marshawn was the bully. I mean, I don't think that... There was some bullying going on. Somebody was doing it because a secret got out that was a betrayal of trust, and it made the young man feel inadequate, and he may have acted out on that.
Probably not.
Okay. No, Marshawn was nice about it. He was nice about it. That upset the guy. That upset this boy. Spirit said probably not. Who had worse grades in school? It's like Marshawn's got a future. Marshawn gets the best grades. Marshawn's on the football team. Marshawn's not gay. Marshawn doesn't want me. Marshawn's getting popular. Marshawn. You know, this kid just didn't have the emotional intelligence or capacity to really handle all of these Marshawn moments. And he wasn't in an environment that nurtured any understanding about it. It probably was a hostile environment.
Uncertain.
Yeah, it left him feeling uncertain about himself. He was insecure. He's already got rejected by one of the nicest people. What does everyone like that? What does everyone like that you can't stand, and why do you hate it? Marshawn. Everyone loves Marshawn, and everyone knows this person's business now. I don't think Marshawn... There's something weird about... it says if you hosted a YouTube channel, what would it be about? So I don't know if Marshawn was starting a YouTube channel. I thought maybe he might have said something about his friend, but I don't know. Now it's kind of going in a different direction. Something about online that made him an overnight popular. Something that happened that made him popular overnight, that kind of skyrocketed him. Maybe just his niceness. Maybe he was making a YouTube about something that he likes to do. He just viewed him as a rejection. It was a rejection wound. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you were an ice cream flavor, what would it be? Oh, he could have posted that he got like a girlfriend or something, like a flavor of the week. He could have put online that he had a new girlfriend or something, and maybe this girlfriend's popular or something. Correct. There we go. There we go. No, he didn't out him. I just nailed it. He posted online when he got a new girlfriend, and the girlfriend must be popular. Spirit said correct. She must be popular or something. Being with her made him people be aware of him in school, and that kind of skyrocketed him to popularity, and he kind of forgot about his friend at the wayside, who was starting to have feelings towards him anyway that were unrequited. So I think positive. Oh. What story from your life comes to mind when you hear the word moist?
I am there.
I'm there.
Infest.
Describe your best first date. When was a time you had good intentions but everything went wrong? Describe your first date. What story comes to mind when you hear the word moist? So I think that Marshawn started talking to him about all kinds of things with his new girlfriend. Maybe they were making out and they're fooling around in their first date, and he didn't want to hear all that. He was getting jealous, he was envious. It's like all the emotions.
I don't know.
And it's puberty. I don't think he outed him, actually. I think that let him down gently, or he made it clear that he's not into boys, but I don't think he outed him. What he did was post a picture or something, or say, or change his profile status of his relationship status online, and it was with a popular person at school, and it made him more popular than he anticipated and that his friend anticipated. If your life flashed before your eyes, what defining moments would you see? Hmm. Imagine seeing your best friend. You you go to a football game with your new girlfriend. Your best friend's fuming with anger, jealousy, hatred, rage. You're everything that he's not. You're not gay for him. You don't hang out with him anymore. You're growing apart. You're going through puberty. You don't have a good home life. You have poverty. This was not a good combination for a young man. Imagine seeing your best friend coming at you with a gun because you're having fun. If your life flashed before your eyes, what defining moments would you see? I'd see my best friend shooting a gun at me. Ugh. If you had a superpower, what would it be? What is the biggest thing you've ever won? If you became an overnight celebrity, what would you be famous for?
16.
16, having a higher perspective. I think Marshawn was 14. He had no idea how upset his friend was. If he had a superpower, it would be to be able to have a higher perspective or be more mature, at least be 16 instead of 14, because he had no idea that his friend was so upset, and his friend didn't talk to him about it. He didn't say anything. It was just changing. It was just changing, and it was just a sticky emotional situation that Marshawn Brudius, his friend was brooding. His friend was brooding. It was something that he became obsessive about. It was literally fatal attraction. He felt the ultimate rejection from his best friend, but his best friend did not know that that's how he's feeling. He's just being a teenager. He's just, getting a girlfriend, going to football games, having fun, enjoying his popularity. That's it. He didn't know. He did not know. What was the best prank you ever been a part of? Who has the worst grades in high school? I was kind of seeing this vision earlier, and I didn't know if I should say it. I should always say it. Duly noted. This person was starting to run with the wrong crowd, and he wanted to look cool for this crowd, for this new friend group. He wanted to show off. He wanted to prove it was some kind of initiation or something, some kind of prank to have, oh, I'm going to show Marshawn this gun I have, like some weird ego boy thing, some dick measuring contest or something like that. That it was an accident. When was a time you had good intentions but everything went wrong? You're in a crowded place, it's loud. You're like screaming for Marshawn to notice you. He did it so Marshawn would notice him. He thought that doing this prank or approaching him in this manner would get his attention somehow. But something happened. Marshawn may have. I just see like it being crowded and people are running out. There's people like laughing, and it was like a chaotic scene. He chose to pull this gun out at the wrong time, and it just went off. It wasn't It wasn't right, but I don't think that was his
multiple
intention.
spirits.
He did get the gun
I'm
from,
not alone.
I was just going to say, he wasn't alone. He was with a new friend crowd that was not the best crowd to be with. It wasn't a good crowd. He was going down the wrong road. Who would you trust with your life in a hostage situation? Have you ever been sent to the principal's office? This person didn't want to get in trouble. They accidentally had the gun go off, and by the time it was too late, they didn't want to get in trouble. So they left him there. Man, this is harder than I thought. I did not see this coming. I just assumed it was going to be some criminal, What's the riskiest thing you have seen someone do? This crowd they were running with that they got the gun from, they were already enmeshed. They may have witnessed them rob people already and thought that they were cool. Thought that this is my new family. These people accept me. The same old story of gang affiliation. What is the worst purchase you have ever made? He bought a gun or something. He bought a gun off a gang member. An unmarked gun off of someone he was in the wrong friend group with. A man. Oh, a man. So someone probably in his neighborhood that is in a gang, an older man. I mean, you already know that life can't be too good for you at home if you have grown men selling 14-year-olds guns. The player on each side must give their best impression of you. Choose the winner. It was some kind of initiation to be in this gang. I don't think that he was supposed to... I think he was supposed to rob his friend, not shoot him. But something happened. It was an accident. Tell us about a time... Positive. Tell us about a time your first impression of someone was incorrect. Marshawn did not ever imagine in a million years that his friend would be so upset at him that he would join a gang, buy a gun off a man, and attempt to rob him at a school football game.
Collect bodies.
Who would look directly into an eclipse with no eye protection? His friend, because his friend just didn't have the life experience or the emotional intelligence to process his emotions. He didn't have a good home life or anyone who was supporting him at home to be able to express his emotions freely. And so they built and he had resentment, he had jealousy, envy, anger, rejection, all the things. And it pushed him to a place he didn't expect to go. It was an accident. And he didn't want to get in trouble. So he ran away. How can this kid unfuck himself? Love unfucked. It's important to be aware of how often feelings are driving your actions and to stop letting them do so. Oh. The power of your words and your promises to yourself and your partner is what really matters here. Live by that and you'll see your relationships transformed. It's my honor to be of service. I hope this helps. I love you guys. Love you, Marshawn.